Hi friends, welcome to the next episode, that is digital means geo-digital, or we say GIS for G governance or good governance or geospatial governance. So, in this episode we will see how GIS can be utilized for good governance, or how the e-governance will become a G governance, or that is we can say in either way, that is good governance or geospatial governance. And then the initiatives that has already reaped success in different corporations of India, different areas of different states in India. So, that is what we will be discussing in this episode. So, in a smart government, or in a government which has become smart by making use of GIS in e-governance. So, we will see that different terms are used by different government department, in any department, let it be a government which is an e-government or a GIS utilized government or whatever it is, different terms are used by different departments in the government. For example, parcel number, street addresses, facility IDs. So, one term may be used by different, primarily by planners, another by police departments and another by public works managers. Different terms may be used, but the thing is that they are all making use, or they are all pointing to a single entity, single land parcel by using a common reference, that is geography. That means that is the parcel number of a particular ID is actually meaning to the facility ID of another department, but they are all referring to a particular land parcel of having a particular cadastral survey number. So, in that case they are all having the common reference, that is called geography, and with that common reference they are all accessing information, and in that case the smart government is making use of geography or GIS, we can say. So, a government is said to be a smart government if it is empowering the employees with information they need to make better decisions and to maximize resources, views this common reference as a strength. So, which is that common reference? That is geography. So, that common reference is given to different employees or different departments. So, that is helping them, so to make better decisions and to maximize resources. So, that common reference is provided. So, how that common reference is provided? It is making use of the GIS. So, when local governments use a geographic information system or a GIS, geography becomes the key for organizing and integrating regional resources. So, that is how a smart government can act. Now, so if we take an example that every asset in the city, township or country, every park bench or water pipe or public school is located at a defined location, that is everything what we have seen have got a particular coordinate. So, that coordinates may be, maybe a particular tree or a water pipe or a point entities, we may say, that is we are using for a map, we are using three types of entities, that is points, lines and polygons. We are using these three objects to make any map. So, the points may be having a single coordinate. So, if you are marking a road, so that may be a line. So, a line is nothing but an array of points. So, each point has got its own coordinates. Each point is created by a coordinate pair, a latitude and longitude. So, in that way we can mark everything. The whole geography can be marked by means of point, line and polygon. And a GIS software stores all kinds of information associated with these assets. So, and how that is the spatial data is stored in the form of coordinates, and all the attribute data or the non-spatial or aspatial data, that is stored in the form of tables or tabular columns or sheets or charts, and they are linked with the single ID or the coordinates. So, in that way they are linked to the coordinate or the spatial data. So, when users click on the object in an on-screen map, say a road, they can access the data stored about the object, such as its right of way or surface type. So, that is if you are clicking on a particular line which is represented as a road. So, we are getting all the information, or the user who is using that, he is getting all the information, that is what type of road it is, whether it is a national highway or a state highway, what is the width, when it was tarred or concreted last time. So, and then what is what polygon you are seeing on the right, what polygon you are seeing on the left. So, what are all the areas? So, every information will be stored. So, with a single click, from that you are actually diving into that digital database and you are bringing the information that you require. And GIS is a graphic, intuitive to use system, that is at work, that is intuitive to use system at work. Behind the scenes it is working actually. So, it is the GIS, it is a graphic system, and actually it is working behind the scenes, because when you click on a particular line you are getting a number of data about that, but the whole data is not seen until and unless you click on that particular thing. So, behind the scene many data is available, or many data is stored behind. So, that is why we say GIS is acting behind the scenes. So, presenting employees with the ways to find, use and analyze stored information, that is another thing. That is, the employees are presenting, that is, the employees have got an idea, or they have got different ways to find, use and analyze stored information. Then users make requests by typing in an address or by using a mouse to circle a location or click on an object in a map. That is, what type of information do you want? That is, if you want to know, that is, if you are in a particular a person who is in a particular region, in a particular town. So, suppose he is in the railway station and that map is available. So, suppose he wants to know what are all the hotels which are providing vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food within a reach of say 500 meters or 100 meters. So, if he puts, or if he types that query into that particular area in that software that is available with the software or the kiosk which is providing the map information. So, in a click, so he is provided with the map. So, the locations, that is the answer to the query, that will be provided in a different color. So, that is the thing, that is the interactive map, or that is the upper hand of the GIS, that is using the GIS map for governance. So, the GIS quickly locates the requested data, whether stored locally or across the enterprise, and displays it on the user's computer screen. That is very important. And with the utilization of WebGIS, it has become more easy to access that kind of data sets. And the results can be viewed on a map, that is, a selected road might be highlighted in yellow, as I told, that is, if you are depending upon our query, that is, if our query is about hotels, or if our query is about bus stands or hospitals, whatever it is, that will be highlighted, and in most of the cases almost all softwares are highlighting that with yellow. On a spreadsheet, that is, if you want all the details in the form of a spreadsheet, again that will be highlighted in that, indicating the road's location and type, and for example, that is the type of the road, and now we can extend that to the local aid funds of the MLAs and like that, whatever be the information that you want to add, that can be added on a later stage also. Or on a bar chart, if you want to view that, in the form of bar chart or similar diagrams, that is also possible. All roads in a region are displayed by age or surface condition, that is also possible. Which are all the roads, how many are say 1 meter, or that is, which are all footpaths. So, like that, any information can be available, and that can be made available in the form of a map or chart or a graph. So, the system gives the user control of which is, that is, the system gives the user control of which is viewed and how it is presented. That is, the control of what is viewed is with the user himself or herself. So, that is the advantage of using GIS in the e-governance or using GIS for mapping. So, in governance, how far that is, if you go back in history, so how far we have started using this geospatial technology in governance. Until a decade ago, as far as India is concerned, government departments and agencies were the only sources of geospatial information. Nobody was allowed to utilize that information. Of course, that was with a security concern, and so the government agencies, especially the agencies which were particularly assigned the jobs of mapping and keeping the records. And then opening up of mapping data and information by the state has enabled enhanced private sector participation in this sector. So, of course, then only it will be, and that has become more popular, and that has infiltrated into more areas, more people started using that. So, in that way it has started reaching the people. So, several businesses and industries are now using geospatial services in India, especially for analysis of demography, competitiveness, expansion, risk management, target oriented marketing, planning of route, etc. And there are many areas, and especially in medicine, health, that is health assessment, many areas that is we have used, or in India we are having the application of geospatial technology in governance. And there is much amount of finance started flowing in this area and towards this area of GIS. That started with the 11th 5-year plan from 2007 to 2012, and 11th 5-year plan that mandated the use of geospatial technologies in government projects such as AGRIS, JNNURM and NLRMP, RAPDRP, and about which we will be discussing, that is each and every one will be discussed in a short while. And then besides that, there are various other fields such as schemes for construction and maintenance of roads, railways and waterways, civil aviation, public utility services, education, health, command area development, flood management, and as I told, that is there are the areas which are not utilizing geospatial technology is very limited, or we can say it is nil. So in that way we have started utilizing that, and the government of India came up with a 65.62 billion Indian rupee budgetary allocation for geospatial projects with an annual productive capacity of about 39.44 billion, which paved way for its firm development, augmented by initiatives like Digital India, Smart Cities and National GIS in the 12th plan, that is from 2012 to 2000, in the 12th plan, 12th 5-year plan, that is from 2012 to 2017. So that much budgetary allocation has come. So this is the time wherein GIS technology has been embraced by the government. So initiatives, different initiatives have been promoting GIS enabled e-governance, and prime among them is the Digital India. Okay. So that is a flagship Digital India initiative, and with that, and that was started with, with the Digital India initiative, the Department of Space was assigned the task of extending the geospatial technology across different ministries, and Department of Space came up with 160 projects, 160 of such projects, that is which is utilizing the GIS in different projects. So in that 160, that is the different departments were consulted, and in that earth observation and geospatial, the projects were about 97, and communication and navigation 30, technology development 10, meteorology 6, asset mapping and mobile application 8, and others which we cannot put into any of this, and 9. So altogether 160 projects were brought by the Department of Space, and some of these projects will also render support to the flagship programs of the government of India, that is namely Amrit, Smart City, Housing for All, Clean Ganga, Prime Minister Krishi Sinchai Yojana, that is PMKSY, Digital India, etc. So out of this 160, many projects are already started rolling, and many are in the beginning stage. And the vision of Digital India, we can say, that is centered around 3 key areas: digital infrastructure, then governance and services, digital empowerment of citizen, and these are all leveraging GIS for decision support systems and development. So all the 3 main pillars are linked together, or they are brought with the common base on GIS, or the geographical information system. So that is what we have to understand. The vision of Digital India has got a major hold, or that has got a major foot on the leveraging of GIS technology. If we slightly broaden that, there are 9 pillars of Digital India. So everything has got a, what you can say, a GIS link. So there are different, the broadband highways, the that is information to all, like that there are 9 pillars, and we have the major role is by the National GIS Mission, or the National GIS project. So everything is linked in one way or the other. So a National GIS Mission is on the anvil. So that is also one important aspect of the Digital India. So why that is there is because location has been identified as a primary unit for Digital India. So we have seen that GIS is dealing with location or the spatial data. So in any project that has been envisaged under Digital India has taken, or that has considered primary unit as location, or location as its primary unit. So location, that is important in network connected digital world of information highways, and then geotagging of the assets that is created by the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Scheme, and then geographical information system, that is a technology platform to facilitate all location based activities. Like that, location has been identified as a primary unit for Digital India, and in that way it has been planned. So, next we will see how a multi-layer GIS platform has been envisaged for this Digital India initiative. Standards based framework to deploy digital GIS assets, that is the prime area. There is a standards based framework to deploy digital GIS assets, that is the starting point. Then that represents common intent of major industries and departments. Then part of larger e-government initiatives to support back-end governance applications. Then facilitate real-time update through departmental ownership and driving force. Involvement and participation of citizens through crowdsourcing, the crowdsourcing part what we had discussed earlier. Then e-governance application to drive location based services and facilitate use of maps through apps within workflow and process of governance needs. Then integration with the social media for data authentication and social auditing. So, when we closely examine all these aspects, we will understand that the G component or the geospatial component, which makes the governance a G governance or a good governance, that is all linked through the location component or the spatial component. So, that is needed, and that has been identified, and that has been incorporated in the initiative, and that is why the maps through apps part has come. So, in that way, the GIS initiatives enabling digital transformation. So, what are all there that is linked to the national GIS as well as Digital India, that is what we will be examining. So, in that, first one is the Bharat Maps, which is again a multi-layer GIS platform which is created and maintained by the National Informatics Center. So, that is Bharat Maps is an initiative into which any citizen of India, he can log in and we can create a user ID and password. So, we can get the information in terms of maps, and that is giving links to the different initiatives, G governance or e-governance initiatives of different state governments also, and we are getting that. So, Bharat Map is such an initiative wherein multi-layer GIS platforms, say in terms of state maps, district maps, block-wise maps can be seen, and that can be taken printouts of those maps can also be taken. And then the GIS for financial inclusion is an initiative by the Department of Biotechnology, and they have got a separate GIS portal, that is where the GIS for financial inclusion is seen, or that is there. Then BBNL GIS portal, that is Bharat Broadband Network Limited, has got again a GIS portal. That is another initiative wherein the GIS portal or the GIS technology is being upheld by another government department. Then Bharat Net Project Monitoring, that is National Optical Fiber Network BBNL. So, that is again, so because the fiber network and all that kind of logistics may require the spatial network, the spatial data, because they have got the all India network. So, when you closely map that, when you with high resolution, so it will be easy to manage that. And then the school location mapping, school GIS is another portal, another area wherein the GIS is beautifully carried out, or that is beautifully administered. Then utility mapping, that is in the form of smart cities, that is the utility mapping, and the smart cities is an area wherein the smart governance is envisaged. And then there is a collaborative mapping example from Punjab, that is the Punjab GIS, an example of crowdsourcing as well as, and is an example for collaborative mapping, and a link to this is available with the Bharat Maps, which we discussed in the first part. And next we have the National GIS, another initiative. So, which is an essential thing, an essential area which requires large attention and a large workforce is required in order to achieve the goal of a national GIS. So, a national GIS platform with GIS centric computing and networking infrastructure, that is the plan or that is the vision. So, that is the seamless nationwide national GIS asset at 1:10,000 scale. So, all assets will be mapped, and that will create a national GIS asset at 1:10,000 map. So, as well as city level data at larger scales. So, when the city comes, it will be more than that, because you know that the number of buildings, we may need the close or some still larger scale maps may be required. So, for the whole country, it will be at 1:10,000, and whereas when it comes to the urban areas or the large city areas, it will be on a still larger scales. Then the targeted national GIS applications to support government ministries and departments, that is the national GIS applications, so that is for different departments and government areas, I mean the government sectors, private enterprises and citizens, and delivered through a national GIS portal. So, planned GIS dashboards for use by the Prime Minister's office, that can be utilized by different governments, departments, citizens, PMOs, by Prime Minister's office, Planning Commission, now it is the Niti Aayog, and then the Cabinet Secretariat and key dignitaries. So, everybody will have an access to that, so they can see, easily manage, and decisions can be taken that is instantaneously. So, we can say that is everything is clearly there on the computer monitor of each and everyone concerned. So, the decision can be made. So, when fully developed, the national GIS will be an expert system, or rather it will be a decision support system in its real sense. Then focused GIS, it is a focused GIS capacity building initiatives, that is another important area, another important aspect of the national GIS, focused GIS capacity building, because it may require a large workforce may be required, and the users who are using that may also will have to have a literacy on GIS. So, focused GIS capacity building, that is another area of that national GIS. Then pragmatic geographic information, that is GI. That is GI policy or geographic information policy positioning and best practices for national GIS, that are all the initiatives promoted. And regarding the national GIS, there is a quote by Dr. T. Ramasamy, the ex-secretary of Department of Science and Technology. With that we will clearly come to know what is meant by national GIS and how it has to go further. So, he says national GIS is a logical requirement, while e-governance is the current paradigm. The future is in embedding the GIS in governance and in establishing G, signifying the GIS based governance, as the next frontier. An institutional framework for national GIS is also a necessity, and evolving INGO, which is nothing but the Indian National GIS Organization, must be a priority. So, a national GIS will be carried out further if an INGO, Indian National GIS Organization, is also comes, so that will be fine. And then now we will see, so we have seen that how geospatial technology can be included in the e-governance and what type of difference it is making. So, because we have examples from different areas in India, so how it is making a difference. So, geospatial technology has made its impact along the length and breadth of the Indian e-governance, starting from rural development to smart cities. Both are met, that is rural development to smart cities, we have examples, and then this is being carried out and it is being practiced and experimented in some areas, of course. So, that those areas started with agriculture, Indian Meteorological Department, IMD, town and country planning, and many more have been GIS dependent for a very long time. So, many areas, many departments have started using this. So, the first thing is, as far as rural development is considered, the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, or the Guarantee Authority, or that is MGNREGA. So, GIS can help these workers to get information about availability of work in the near locations, work site location informations, real time transparent attendance and payment information. And at the same time, it will benefit the citizens by enabling Geo portal for MGNREGA assets, which will enhance the concurrent social audit by citizens and facilitate feedback information on current status of work, quality validation, etc. So, it will be a give and take policy. The workers can be benefited and the society can also be benefited. So, for that this portal using the geotagging of the material, so that has already been started, that is the photos of the assets have to be loaded to this Geo portal. So, people can watch, so how much has been done, so what asset has been created, so that is being done in the case of this part of rural development. And then another important sector which has utilized GIS for e-governance, or which has made it the e-governance as G-governance, is our Indian Railways. So, what the Indian Railways have done is, they have developed a web-based application web-based application, which is nothing but a land management module, and the pilot project will, and that has already started in Delhi. So the GIS mapping of all railway land in Delhi will help the authorities in curbing the menace of encroachment. So first part is identifying the encroachment, how much railway land has been encroached by private sector people or individuals. So that can be identified. So from geographic information system, from GIS mapping of its vacant land to aerial survey of its railway station through drones, the railway have come to know that what is the extent of encroachment and how much land is still available. So the railways adopting state of the art technology for asset and project management. So that is being carried out by Indian Railways. So they have already stepped into the GIS governance or applying the GIS in the e-governance. Another area is by the electricity boards of the states, which is known as the RAP-DRP. That is, the key objective of this RAP-DRP is nothing but the restructured accelerated power development and reform program. RAP-DRP, that is to improve financial health of state electricity boards. So it is envisaged in two parts, or two parts, that is the activities are planned. So in the part A, or the first part, GIS mapping, metering of distribution transformers and feeders. So that will be done. Then automatic data logging for all distribution transformers and feeders and SCADA, that is supervisory control and data acquisition, and DMS, that is document management system in the project, and having more than 4 lakh population and 350 mega unit annual input energy. And in the second part, the B part of this activity, the activities planned under part B is the renovation, modernization and strengthening of 11 kV level substations, transformers, transformer centers. Then strengthening of sub-transmission system to 33 kV or 66 kV levels in some exceptional cases. So this RAP-DRP is that has already rolled on, and that is what they are doing is the mapping and then the strengthening. So once everything is mapped, it is easy which are all the weakness points, where transmission loss is taking place and where the surplus energy is, where shortage is there, that can be easily identified on a mouse clip, or that will be available on the computer screens of all state electricity or central boards or the persons concerned. And then the Amrud is another flagship program, that is wherein the formulation of GIS based master development plans for 500 Amrud cities is one of the important reforms under Amrud. That is, and most of all, it is 100% centrally funded sub scheme with the budget outlay of rupees 515 crores. The major objective of the scheme are to develop common digital georeferenced base maps and land use maps using geographical information system, GIS, and master plan formulation for 500 cities. 500 cities are the 500 Amrud cities. So that is completely GIS managed, GIS enabled. So this will be a G governance actually. So in those Amrud cities, it will be 100% GIS governance that will be taking place. So with that, so these are all the steps that is being taken, and these are all the things these are all the strengths of the GIS when it is taken into the level of e-governance, and this is how e-governance has come to the next level of G governance or good governance or geospatial governance, however we can translate that. So with that, we are winding up this episode, and in the next episode we will be seeing how the same technology, the geospatial technology, will be utilized for other areas like taxation, then disaster management, water resource management, like that. So with that, we are winding this part. So thank you for watching.